We finished restoring your 1977 Nishijin C Pachinko machine. This quick start guide will show you how to set it up and play. Since you're going to be putting in your own glass when you get the machine, that's the first thing you want to do. So you want to turn around the machine, turn the machine around. There is a latch right here, and you're going to lift up on that latch. And you saw the door pop open. When you lift that latch, swing the playfield door all the way open. Then inside the door is two tracks. There's a front track closer to the front and then one to the back. You want to slide your glass down the back, and once the glass is in, you want to squeeze the playfield door until it latches. Next, you'll want to put your machine in the cabinet that you purchased. There's a separate video to show you how to do that. Just one thing to point out, that you have a couple keys for the new lock that we put in here. And right now it's in a locked position. The bar is sticking through the side. This actually fits inside of your cabinet. There's a groove that fits into, so you'll just make sure this lines up. So before you put it in the cabinet, you need to unlock it so that it'll slide in. Okay, the top right of the back of the machine, we're just going to make sure this weighted lever is flipped down. There is a lever here, this white lever that's at an angle. That's in the wrong position, because right now if you added balls to the machine, they would just roll out the bottom. So you need to have this be perpendicular in the locked position. You can kind of see a little wire right here. What we're going to do is we're going to pull down on that wire, and when we do, that arm will reset. Okay, now it's locked. Now the balls won't fall out of the machine. We'll attach the battery in a minute. Now down towards on the left, towards the bottom, this white rectangular piece is your one ball seesaw. Right now it's in the wrong position. Balls will back up in your machine. They'll cause jams. Nothing will work. So you need to reset that seesaw just by grabbing this white tab here where the wire is going through and flip it. There's two balls inside there, so you can hear them rattling around. They act as counterweights. Now it's in the correct position. Now we're going to connect the battery, and when we do, you'll see a light come on right here. That light comes on to let you know that you need to add balls to your top tray. So once we add balls, there's a switch right here that will activate, and the light will turn off. Now from the front of your, here is the light on the front. When it comes on, that means stop, refill the back. Also, you have a little sign down here. It says wait. A little orange and red, yellow, and orange, red, and yellow sign. It'll also drop down in place. When you add balls, the sign lifts out of the way. Also, when this sign is down, there is a lever right here that blocks the flow of balls. So you can have a lot of balls here, but if you're flipping and nothing's happening, it could be that the balls aren't flowing through into the shooter assembly. Load some balls into your play tray, off to the supply tray, and they'll roll down this track, make this turn, come across this track, and as they do, they'll push these, there's two levers, they'll push them out of the way, and then the balls will go in here into your jackpot seesaw. This white cover actually flips open. There's a catch right back under here under the switch. You can just push down and flip it open so you can see the jackpot seesaw. In case you ever have a jam, carpet, anything else in here you need to get out, you can open this up. Otherwise you can keep this closed. Also, this cover holds down your lower track cover. So we got the cover here, it slides in a notch in the back and it sits there, and as you close this, it sits on top of it holding it in place. Cabinet, you'll be doing your bucket different. It's in that other video, but for other folks who are watching this, you need to set a bucket here to catch balls that fall through this chute and through this chute. Okay, now let's talk about the front of the machine. Here's a finger rest bar. Usually you take your index finger and rest it up against it, then you take your thumb, put it on top of the flipper, you'll pull it all the way down and then quickly let go. So the flipper, there's a spring in back, the flipper will bounce back up, and what will happen is it'll launch a ball up the shooter lane all the way around, and it may hit this swing here and then bounce back into the play field. It'll bounce off the nails, the spinners will redirect the ball, and then you're hoping it'll go into one of these pockets, any of these tulips or the main attraction, and then you'll get a jackpot. When you get a jackpot, the balls will fall down, they'll hit a bell, and you'll hear them ring, and then the balls will come to your play tray here. You'll also see the light flash here when you get a jackpot. So no matter which one of these it goes in, the same thing happens. You get the same payout. If you don't get one to go into the pockets, the ball will drop here, exit to the back of the machine, and fall in the bucket. First time you load the machine, nothing will happen on the first shot because it's actually loading a ball into the shooter lane. Now with our second shot, okay, the second shot, the ball came across, it hit the swing here, and then it dropped down this foul lane, and ran across, and then it came back to your play tray. The reason they have that is they want to encourage you to use skill in the game, to instead of just beating the flipper all the way and having it come in the foul lane, to pull it down, maybe not all the way, but almost all the way, or maybe halfway, to see if you can get the ball to drop down the middle or aim for the open pockets. Okay, we got a couple balls in these pockets. We got a couple of jackpots. We also saw another thing. Shot a ball, it went up part way up the lane, but there wasn't enough power, so it rolled back down into your tray here. I'm going to open up the play field, zoom in so we can take a look at some of the actions in the center. Now the way this jackpot works, main attraction works, is if you get one to go into the top pocket, it will go down in the back, and it'll either go all the way over, it'll drop down to this one, or it'll drop down to this one, and if they are closed, it will open one of them up. Let me show you that. I'll just close this. If it was already open and the ball went that way, nothing would happen because it's already open, but you would still get your jackpot paid out. You could get one to go through the top pocket here, and it would drop down to this basket, and instead of going in that hole there, it might drop to the left or the right. And if it does, then it'll come down, possibly bounce on this guy's head, it's on a spring, and then drop down either to this hole or this hole, in which case it'll probably open some other pockets. Let's take a look. Okay, it dropped down, opened this pocket, so this hole is most likely going to open this one. I'm going to close that one just in case. Now this tulip is closed, and the only way to get a ball in here is to have it go straight down back behind these kids here. Basically what's going to have to happen is a ball is going to have to hit either one of these posts and then bounce behind the little boy's head and fall in a hole back there. It's a hard shot to get. Okay, and one dropped in there. Now if one drops in, this is what's called a double hit. Normally when a ball drops in a pocket that's open, it'll close, and if it's closed, it'll open. This one double hit, so when one ball goes in, it opens up, a second ball goes in, it stays open, and the third ball, it'll close. Now we've won a lot of jackpots. This tray is filling up. If we get enough jackpots, they'll eventually start to back up in the machine, and the balls will come down here into your receiving tray. If the light ever comes on the top telling you need to refill your machine, you need to get the balls out of here to refill it. And the way you'll do that is you'll slide this lever over to the left, and the balls will flow from here to here. Sometimes the weight of the balls can cause them to jam, in which case you might have to loosen them with your finger. You might also have to pull down on the flipper at the same time as you're doing the slide to get the balls to go in the hole. Now with all the balls out of the play tray, we're going to open the play tray door. We're going to do that by pushing down on this tab and then swing it open. And you may need to do that occasionally in case ever something gets in here that shouldn't be here. Screws, pennies, carpet fuzz, etc. So we'll push down, and then I'm going to grab the tray, swing it open, and now we have access to the shooter lane here. We can see there's a ball in there. I'll just reach in and pick it up. And then on the back of the play tray door is the shooter assembly. And it's right here. There's balls lined up in there ready to shoot. So what happens is, let me zoom in. As you pull down on the flipper, there is a post back here with a spring on it. And when you let go, it hits the ball and launches it. What also happens is there is a piece of plastic here you're going to see move. That plastic, now ball load lever, is going to engage this plastic, and as that goes down, it's going to push this down, and it'll put the next ball in the shooter lane. So I'll go ahead and do that manually, pull down here, and when I let go, it popped it in my hand, it would be popping it into the lane. So I'm going to go ahead and get all these balls out. And I wanted to get them out to show you that you can open up this shooter assembly. There's a couple tabs back here. You can pinch those, swing it open, again in case you need to get something out of here. Now you close it just by pushing it and snapping it closed. There, when you close the playfield door, you want to make sure that this plastic ball load lever goes over this lever. Sometimes when you're closing it might push against it. You may have to reach around from back and lift it up. Usually not though. Also you have this wire here and this wire here which controls your weight sign. This wire will ride over this one. So as you close the door, I usually push down on that latch. When you saw the weight sign move up as the wire rides across the top, and then snap it closed. We'll see how a jackpot happens from the back. I'll drop a ball in this pocket over here so you can watch it roll down this ramp. It'll enter into your seesaw here, and it'll pivot down. Then the ball will roll across over to here. It'll land on this plastic arm, push it out of the way. There's also a clear plastic arm back there it'll land on, and that arm will pivot down, and as that pivots down, it'll move bars back here, releasing your jackpot seesaw so the balls can fall down. And when they fall down, they'll hit a metal plate, roll across, hit your bell at the play tray, then everything will reset. I'll drop a couple in. Now I'll zoom in on that and drop it in here. I forgot to mention, these are the backs of the tulips. There's the far tulip here, then there's the lower one here. So if you get a ball in the far tulip and the other tulip is closed, it'll open up this tulip. Same on the opposite side, so that's also kind of a neat feature. When you pull on the flipper, it's moving this metal here, and as it moves that plastic ball load lever. It's attached to the spring here. The spring's rolling across and all the way back behind here, and then you see this metal plate has a few holes in it, and there's a nail. All those holes are meant to adjust the tension on the spring. So if you're pulling down the flipper and you don't like how hard if it's not shooting hard enough or shooting too hard, you just pick that up off that nail and move it to one of the other holes. You're ready to empty your machine. We're going to actually pull down on that lever, and when we do, all the balls that are up here will drain down here. Still balls from this point on that we need to get out of the machine. And you want to always get the balls out of the machine because you want to lay it down or store it with balls in it, because then they'll go into places they shouldn't and cause jams. What we're going to need to do is we're going to need to hold these levers back here, and then we're going to move this white lever over to the left, and then there's a clear plastic tab, and we're going to pull down on it and let go. And when we do, it'll pay out the balls. Okay, now we'll just go around to the front, take the balls out of the play tray, and we're good to go. We'll take out the battery. Okay, that concludes this quick start guide. If you have any questions, just let us know. Thanks.